Welcome to the Explainer. If you love understanding how massively complex systems are evolving, literally right beneath our feet, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're taking a highly focused look at a huge transformation happening in a profession that's, usually known for centuries of dusty books and deep-rooted traditions. We're talking about the legal world. We're going to unpack exactly how artificial intelligence is dramatically rewriting the rules of the American justice system. Okay, let's dive into this with a number you might actually remember from the headlines. 6. That is the exact number of entirely fake, totally hallucinated court cases that a New York lawyer submitted in a legal brief back in 2023, and he did it by just using ChatGPT to do his research. Now, that wildly publicized mistake became what a lot of folks called a Sputnik moment for the American judiciary. I mean, it was a massive public disaster. Looking at this at the time, people naturally assumed that AI in the legal field was just dead on arrival. The narrative was that the tech was simply way too reckless for the high-stakes world of law. But here's the thing. That disaster didn't actually kill the technology. It just provided a smokescreen. Section 1, The Secret Revolution, AI's Quiet Takeover. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is what's happening behind that smokescreen. We have crossed a massive threshold. Today, nearly 79% of legal professionals are actively using AI inside their firms. It's wild. The technology is no longer just some, quirky experiment. It has become absolute core infrastructure. From the most elite big law partners right down to everyday solo practitioners, this tech is literally everywhere. And the tools driving this 79% adoption rate, they aren't those simple chatbots from 2023. No way. We're talking about the rise of highly sophisticated agentic AI platforms, systems like Harvey and Lexis+ AI. These are digital agents that take real action. They're designed specifically for human-in-the-loop justice. That basically means the AI does the heavy lifting while a human lawyer acts as the final editor. They're silently, but fundamentally, rewriting how legal work actually gets done every single day. To really grasp the sheer scale of this infrastructure, just consider this valuation. Harvey AI is now valued at a staggering $11 billion. $11 billion. And why? Because it's not just running basic keyword searches. It uses secure environments, they call them vaults, to instantly analyze thousands of proprietary, highly confidential firm documents. It can essentially draft work that looks exactly like a seasoned senior partner wrote it. Section 2. The Efficiency Miracle, Collapsing Timelines. When you combine that level of AI intelligence with secure, firm data, the gains are absolutely jaw-dropping. Look, anyone who has ever been a junior associate knows the sheer pain of a 16-hour, grueling research marathon. You're pulling cases, you're checking citations, just drowning in paperwork. Well, today, that exact same workload is being finished by AI platforms in just 3 to 4 minutes. 3 to 4 minutes. It is a total, complete collapse of traditional legal timelines. And this isn't just happening at those multi-billion-dollar firms either. Mid-sized practices are reporting that they've slashed their contract review times by a massive 60%. How are they doing it? Well, simply by embedding these AI capabilities directly into Microsoft Word. They're redlining and reviewing at lightning speed, literally right where the lawyers are already working. Section 3. The Veracity Crisis. When AI fails. So as this adoption hits an absolute fever pitch, we really have to ask ourselves, what happens to justice when the machine gets it wrong at lightning speed? It's a scary thought. By April of 2026, a dedicated database had actually tracked over 1,300 documented cases of AI-generated errors making their way into actual official court filings. The sheer volume of these mistakes is creating a massive headache for judges nationwide. To really underscore the severity of this crisis, let's look at one single day on the calendar. On just one day in March 2026, 17 separate United States court decisions were issued that explicitly flagged suspected AI hallucinations. Think about that. That's 17 different courtrooms dealing with phantom, totally made-up law generated by a computer, all at exactly the same time. And if you're thinking this is only a problem for careless practitioners, well, think again. Even the world's most elite firms are not immune to this. In 2026, Sullivan & Cromwell, which is a highly prestigious firm that actually advises OpenAI, was forced to issue a very public apology after filing an emergency motion that contained 28 erroneous AI citations. And this brilliantly illustrates a really shocking reality about why these errors are slipping through even the most rigorous safety nets. A landmark study out of Stanford proved that even the most advanced
quote-unquote legal-grade AI tools still hallucinate up to a third of the time, 33%. When the system sounds incredibly confident but is actually wrong a third of the time, the risk to legal accuracy is just monumental.
Section 4. The privilege trap, waiving confidentiality. Because you see, hallucinations aren't the only danger here. There is a terrifying hidden legal trap beneath all of this. Look at the ruling from the 2026 federal case, U.S. v. Heppner. In that case, a federal judge ruled that AI-generated documents are not privileged, stating very clearly that sharing data with a public AI completely waives confidentiality. So the absolute crucial point is this. If you talk to a public AI about your sensitive case strategy, you've broken the seal. The government might legally be able to see every single word you typed. Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 5, the future of law, adapting to the machine. With efficiency skyrocketing and, frankly, massive risks looming, the American Bar Association has actually stepped in with a very clear mandate. Technological competence is no longer considered optional for a lawyer. It is a strict requirement of the job. And because of this, we're witnessing the collapse of the traditional billable hour. For clients, this changes the whole shebang. Modern lawyers are being forced into a massive philosophical shift. They're having to sell their judgment rather than just billing you for their time. And there's a quote that perfectly summarizes this inescapable reality of the modern legal field. It goes, "AI won't replace lawyers, but lawyers who use AI will replace those who don't." It's just a fact. You simply cannot compete against a firm doing 16 hours of work in 4 minutes unless you adapt. Which leaves us with this final, truly provocative thought to take away from today's explainer. As this technology moves from just drafting contracts to actually anticipating how a judge will rule, well, if a machine can eventually predict a case outcome better and far more accurately than a human ever could, should we still let humans have the final say? It's a huge question. Thank you so much for exploring this with me today. Keep asking those tough questions, and I'll see you in the next explainer.